Welcome to the Beacon by Soul 33 teachings for your past, present and future. Good morning everyone. It is the 11th of September. I am back in Auckland, New Zealand, and we have another Monday mantra for you, your soul progression lesson for the week. Please don't forget, if you're listening to this on YouTube or Spotify or the Beacon app, please share, tag us in your stories, let people know that these 20-minute soul progression lessons exist when you're using the app or shuffling the oracle cards. Sharing really helps me to grow this platform. As I've mentioned, this app, apps are very expensive things to have, and I've saved up to fund this myself so that everyone has some form of access to healing at a really affordable price. And so the more that you talk about it and let people know that it exists, the more that I can create resources for you to keep progressing yourself wherever you are in the world. And we've grown so much over the last couple of months that we've got people all over the world: China, Peru, Estonia. So welcome to all of you. It's just such a privilege that I get to be here to assist you on your spiritual journey. So, as you would have seen from my social media, I have been in Malaysia visiting my family. It was my mother's birthday. I wanted to be there for a significant turning point in her life. And so I've had a lot of interesting things to catch you up on in this Monday mantra, so it might go on for a bit longer. But, it is what it is. So as we recap from last week's Monday mantra, those of you who have been long-term listeners will know that the Monday mantras all transition from one week to the other, that to the next. They all tell a story, which is like the tapestry of your life, your soul story. And what these are for you to make sense of what life is showing you. The more that you meditate, the more that you are on the path of awareness and detachment, the more that these Monday mantras will make sense to you without you having to find it. It will just naturally come up as they do for me. So your Monday mantra last week was: disruptions are to access the unique treasure in the making. Disruptions are to access the unique treasure in the making. I had so many disruptions last week, and the disruption energy came up from Spirit because it is Mercury retrograde at the moment. There have been many disruptions to communication, to people changing plans, all kinds of things. And as I mentioned to you last week when I was in Malaysia recording the Monday mantra, that, the whole trip and everything has taken me out of my normal routine. And actually what I realized while I was over there is that I'm naturally quite a routined person. I'm someone that's very disciplined, someone that's very determined, and that's all good. But I needed to actually look at the other perspective of what happens when I break the routine. And you would see from my videos, I'm a lot more relaxed. Because I was getting up at 3:30 every morning in Malaysia, every morning. Not one day did I get up late so that I could get my Soul 33 work done before 9 a.m. and then spend the rest of the day with my family. So I was going to bed early and getting up very early so that I could do all the things that I do for you, because even social media posts take ages. But obviously, as we've mentioned, Kieran and I, there have been a lot of people emailing, which is so wonderful, so grateful. So there's just been a lot more to do. So that disruption for me was, I was in another country. I was living life very differently because I'm with my parents. I had morphed back into child Gaia, which was wonderful, being taken care of rather than the one that's doing the taking care. And that was a really great balance for me, because what it really helped me do was, I didn't realize, because I was in the same environment for quite a while, meaning like I hadn't left the country in a while to be in my family environment, that I could see how things were being mended for me, because I was able to break my routine down and put it all back together again, making it even more stunning, like coming back to New Zealand feeling nourished, coming back feeling like I was a treasure, because my parents always take such wonderful care of me and appreciate who I am. And it was just like that built that inner child within me of going, oh my God, like I'm someone's treasure, someone, you forget that when you're the person that's giving all the time. And so this energy of disruption is to make this beautiful piece of art out of our lives. And you can't do that when you're just looking at life through the same lens. So I literally in my meditations last week, especially that day that I came online, it's like you have to drop everything and do your meditation now. I think it was last Wednesday. Something was happening astrologically. I think Venus went direct or something like that. And remember, I'm saying it vaguely because I'm not an astrologer. I'm someone who is a medium, psychic healer, and someone who is very, very connected. So therefore, I feel things. There was a massive physical shift, and I literally could see the anxiousness and fear, unconscious stuff coming out of my body and literally breaking in front of me. And the forgiveness thing, every time I went to bed over the last week, I would forgive myself, not for anything in particular, just forgive myself for being hard on myself, forgive myself if I felt like I'd been short with somebody or whatever, just forgive myself, forgive everything that's happened, forgive the circumstances. And it was a beautiful part of that mending that was going on for me, having a disrupted routine, but it was actually for the greatest good of coming back to what's most important, which was love and family and being in a place where I'm nurtured in that way. I'm giving you examples about my life so that you know how to apply it to your life. And being positive was really important to stay on the path, knowing that solutions for whatever we're concerned about are going to come up. And we're being assured that greater things are coming because it's all part of the plan. So that nurturing thing was coming up big time for me because I was able to nurture myself more because I was in a routine, a new routine, waking up at 3:30. I actually loved that time of the morning. That I always laugh and tell Kieran, I wish my client would see me at 3 o'clock in the morning because I'd love to be done by 8, but that's just my natural personality. I'm not an evening person at all. So being open to new situations, but also forgiving the way old things have been, old patterns, was really important as part of this disruption energy that I was picking up to access the unique treasure. I obviously flew back to New Zealand. The flight was ridiculously full. It was just so full that when I got to Auckland Airport, it took so long for processing. So those of you who are travelling, allow time for whoever's picking you up because literally, I arrived at 11 p.m. and didn't get home till like 1 a.m. because of how long everything took. That was another disruption. But then I was telling myself at that time, this is what I'm meant to be a part of. Like the disruption is really great because it's for me to spend this extra time just relaxing into. I can't control when my bag comes out of the out on the conveyor belt. Now, while on the plane, I was reading. Now, I talked to you last week about the pearl being the treasure, right? And I put up that quote on our app. A pearl is a beautiful thing that is produced by an injured life. It is the tear that results from the injury over the oyster. The treasure of our being in this world is also produced by an injured life. If we had not been wounded, if we had not been injured, then we will not produce the pearl. Now, I had put that up earlier in the week because that's what I felt like I needed to put up to remind you of what I mean by a disruption. It's like the pearl gets disrupted and aggravated, but through that there's something beautiful. Now, I don't usually read fictional books, but a couple of people had recommended that I read Lucinda Riley's Seven Sisters. And so I'd started that series, and while I was in Malaysia, I had more time to read. Now, I'd finished the third book, and I started the fourth book a couple of days after I put that quote up. The fourth book is called The Pearl Sister. Now, I finished that whole book on the plane ride back because I didn't sleep. Usually I sleep very well on a plane, but I didn't because it was just the timing and wasn't my normal sleeping time. And so when I got home, so The Pearl Sister I loved so far out of the series, that's the book that I've loved so far. And when I got home, I opened the front door and there was a framed round image on my hallway console. Now, the reason why I'm bringing that up is because it was a woman holding a pearl in her hand. Now, I know that that picture is from my mother-in-law's house, but it wasn't in our house, it was in her house. Now, my partner doesn't know that I've been reading this book, The Pearl Sister, and I walked in the door. I said, "Did you bring this home?" He said, "Yeah, I thought you'd like this picture from Mum's house." And I was like, I just finished reading The Pearl Sister. I put up the thing about the pearl for my clients last week. So this is the synchronicity. Now, the piece of art that I've now accumulated in my house from my partner is called The Sea Hath Its Pearls, from a German artist, I believe. And there's a poem that goes with the piece of art. And this is the poem. Now, it's translated from German, so just listen carefully because there's a message in this for all of us. Otherwise, the whole pearl thing wouldn't have come up again in this way. The sea hath its pearls, the heaven hath its stars, but my heart, my heart, my heart hath its love. Great are the sea and the heaven, yet greater is my heart, and fairer than pearls and stars, flashes and beams my love. Thou little youthful maiden, come unto my great heart. My heart and the sea and the heaven are melting away with love. So as I move on to the other things that were discussed during the week on my social media, because I like to explain things to you so you understand why things come up. And we pulled the forgiveness card for the Soul Progression Oracle digital card pick for the week. And, you know, I mentioned forgiveness in the Monday mantra days before and then ended up pulling this card. So again, another synchronicity to validate what I'd said in the Monday mantra around forgiveness is the gold. Forgiveness is what is, you know, to forgive myself from overworking so hard that I didn't give me space to be nurtured by people that love me. So in order to receive your pearl, and again, this is before I came home and saw the Sea Hath Its Pearls art on my console. In order to receive your pearl, your treasure, we must be able to forgive. This isn't about specific people and situations. However, when the monkey mind goes back to old stories, it's time to forgive that. Forgive how you have sabotaged or held yourself back because you were afraid or from your judgment of self or others. Forgive the stories of fear you scared yourself with to keep yourself from being hurt. That's not living. We live to learn. We learn to live. And beyond survival, we learn to live beyond survival to get the good stuff, which is our pearl. The forgiveness card came up for us last week to remind us that there is a beautiful transformation on the other side of forgiveness. And so when we apply that poem, The Sea Hath Its Pearls, my heart hath its love, flashes and beams my love. And he's not talking about my love as in like you. It's talking about the love that is within the heart and everything being melted away with love, because forgiveness is a very loving act. I had a very, very intense meditation where Spirit's like, you need to teach everyone on the app how to shapeshift. And I was like, okay. So that's one of my abilities. That's why I'm able to read and help people heal so well, is because I can shapeshift into you. So I have created a meditation for the first week of October, and all your homework that I've given you is preparing you to teach you how to shapeshift. And shapeshifting is being able to transform from object to animal to yourself to another being, to be able to gain perspective in different layers of consciousness, which is really important message they're telling me for all of us as we're going through September, which is quite a practical month, because disruptions in life unveil treasures. Because if we're going along the same way for too long, we can't see the treasures in life. They create situations. Through force, they create situations and experiences of rawness and vulnerability so that transformation can occur. Interruptions or disruptions, they are frustrating. So I had a situation over the weekend where an old friend from a long time ago wanted to come and visit. Now, Gaia, being routine and planned, had planned for this visit, but the person messaged me at 5 o'clock in the morning saying this, and I'm going to be honest. I just got home, I'm very drunk, I'm not going to come. Now, my initial response to that was judgment. I have to be honest. It was like, you're a grown man, you're a father, and you are out all night because your family are not around you, and therefore I'd planned for your visit, but you can't come. But I was thinking, hang on, this disruption is actually a treasure in the making. So I messaged back and I said to my friend, I said, thank you for letting me know early, because what it enabled me to do is, because I was jet lagged, was to come back to a place of finding what I needed to do for the day and having time to do all the things. And that was a treasure. And so rather than being irritated, I was like, actually, this is great. This person in their drunkenness had taken the time to message me to say, I can't come today because I just don't feel good, and it's self-inflicted. So it was actually a wonderful gift. So what disruptions happened for you last week? And what was the treasure in the making? And it could have been small things and it could have been big things. Like for me, I feel like really big things are happening. And that pearls are made up of layers like an onion. And so I just feel like that pearl analogy is coming up really, really strongly for me at the moment. Months and months ago, I took a box of pearls from my mother-in-law's place when she passed away, and I've had them sitting next to me while I work. And so that picture that came home with my partner while I was away was just a beautiful transition of the pearl story to lead me to that poem to read to you and get derived from that what you need to be able to understand what this Monday mantra and this energy is all about. Now, remember, I'm always here for you. There's different ways to see me. And yes, we literally do have hundreds of people waiting to see me. I'm just being honest with you. I am focusing on those who are really serious about their soul progression, because that is where the biggest difference my work is made, because you're coming very serious, and that is through soul ceremonies. When you see me in person, I only see one person, and then that is it for a couple of days. Or the rest of the day, depending on what I've got scheduled for the week. But remember, mini readings are for app members if you have 3 questions that you want to ask. Now, they are not for big life questions. They're to get guidance briefly on something that you need assistance with. So if you need help with that, just let Kira know. Personalized meditations are an amazing way for you to heal, as well as progress yourself in your own time. Now, mini readings, remember, you're not going to get any emotion in mini readings. There's no space for that. It's purely to just give you what you need straight to the point. So please don't expect some really supportive energy from those, because I'm unable to give it to you in that capacity. That's why there are different ways to see me as the person. And also with your personalized meditations, Kieran had said someone emailed whinging about what I charge as an exchange for my personalized meditations. Those of you who have them have ordered a lot of them, because you know how profound they are. And I know that all of you who have them are very grateful, because you know how much time is taken to do them. Like, I spend almost up to 2 hours doing one. My process is I have to go, all the music on the app is licensed for the app. I will get sued if the app music is played anywhere else. So when I am picking music for your personalized meditations or the general meditations, they are licensed under the Beacon app, under my company. Every musician is paid for. That in itself is an expensive process. Therefore, it is part of the fee for your personalized meditations. And we do have people that are up to their 15th or 16th meditation now, because they get deeper as I create them for you. So just know that it's a big process, and there are reasons why I do things, because I do things properly and to make sure that everyone's skills who are being used, like our IT developers, the musicians that create the meditation music, everyone's being acknowledged, which leads me to this week's Monday mantra, actually. So remember, if you need to renew your app, if you need to become a member, if you're having any IT situations, please let us know by emailing. Don't message on social media, because there are so many messages that come through there that I can't keep up with all of them through all the platforms. But Kieran is directly connected with IT, and we will get on to things if you're having any issues. soul33@gmail.com. The app is only $60 per year. That in itself is also a very nominal fee for what goes into the back end to create this app. This is why other meditation apps that don't have a psychic medium healer who's in demand behind it charge about $15 to $20 a month, because they have the backing to get a lot of members, because apps are, they take up a lot of financial investment. So I'm grateful for all of you being here, but if you need any help, Kieran's the place to go. Okay, so I'm a bit slower with talking because I am a bit tired from all the flying, but we are here at this week's energy. I am seen and acknowledged for who I am is this week's Monday mantra. I am seen and acknowledged for who I am. Now, I am acknowledging that today is September 11th, and I think there's very few people in the world who would not know what happened on September 11th in our lifetime, and I'm acknowledging all of the people because I have a lot of American clients and a lot of American subscribers. So I'm acknowledging this day for all of us. I think most of us would remember where we were on that day that happened, and I've met people who were in New York at that time. And so I wasn't surprised when Spirit said to me that this week is about acknowledgement for who I am. It's also who you've been and who you've lost and all of that. It's just that I can't fit everything on an Instagram post. Therefore, I have the Monday mantras to talk to you further about what I mean. So what happens when you apply this Monday mantra of I am seen and acknowledged for who I am in your life, not just to yourself, but to other people, looking at other people to acknowledge them and see them for who they are? Because this is like 101 for shape-shifting, the preparation for the shape-shifting exercise that you're going to get in the first week of October. Most of us will be really happy to see the back of Mercury retrograde. It's going direct this week, which is on the same day as the new moon. So who we are, what we want, and our place in the world is going to start becoming a lot clearer. So when we have a place of clarity, when we're feeling clear, it is much easier to be assertive and to use our authority, but also to shapeshift into another person, animal, or object to look instinctively at what you're experiencing. Instinctively is a very important word this week. Not intuitively, instinctively. So look at your instincts this week as you are approaching your life. If a repetitive situation is coming up, because that happens, it happens to me too, like, oh God, why is this happening again? It's asking you to come from a place of being seen and acknowledged. Now, I'm going to talk about this. It's been something that's been on my mind, and it's probably my way of acknowledging myself being seen and acknowledged. We all have gifts, all of us. An artist has a gift, a musician has a gift, an accountant a gift with numbers, a hairdresser a gift with hair, a beautician a gift with beauty. There is no difference with my gift, and yet there is an expectation sometimes of people thinking that I should do what I do for free or for not very much. So when we got that hate mail, or even the mail that Kieran showed me around complaining about, it was basically, how could Gaia do this, charge for a personalized meditation? It takes me time. It's using my gift and ability to help you heal. So if you find yourself in this place of like, excuse me, I want to be seen and acknowledged for what I have to go through to do what I do for you, we should honor people and their gifts, not challenge them on why do you charge. A photographer has an amazing ability to look at you and see you. they should be paid for their time and all the processing and editing that goes on afterwards. So this is what I'm talking about in terms of a place of being seen and acknowledged. Look at that through your own eyes. Look at that through the eyes of an animal, which is going to be really important. So this is like animal totems, because animals are looking at things instinctively, not necessarily intuitively, but on a really basic and instinctive level, which we're going back to in this week's energy. So if you find yourself in this place of, actually, I want to be seen and acknowledged. This is why I find myself when things happen. Of course, you all teach me every day as I see clients. But it's kind of like, I see you for who you are and understand what you're going through. But I also think I'm a human being. I want to let you know what's happening for me and why I do the things that I do, because there's reasons for it. And we shouldn't have to get people to justify us or to justify what we do. But sometimes we do have to remind people, hang on, I want to be seen and acknowledged as well. A lot of that going on at the moment for you to think about. So if any conflicts arise internally or externally that is around that, hang on, I want to be seen, I want to be acknowledged, it's only for you to gain wisdom through acknowledgement. So the key words for this week are acknowledgement, but also instinctive. So if we shapeshift into the eyes of an animal and instinctively look at life, we have a more innocent perspective on life, a more practical perspective, because animals are not thinking about the feelings of others so much. Say if you're a snake, you're just instinctively moving through life. And it's through that lens we need to be looking at things this week, apparently, Spirit was telling me. So this is why they had me shape-shifting. I'm so excited to share that meditation with you. So doing your homework is really, really important, because it's preparing you for that particular meditation that will come in a couple of weeks. Don't be in it to win it this week. Declare your feelings and make your contribution count. So, for example, there are a couple of special people, like September is full of special people having birthdays for me, my mother, partner, friends. And so, again, and this week there are a couple of them, it's acknowledging them, seeing them for who they are. So, declaring your feelings, making your contribution count, but not in it to win it. And that, I don't mean that in an aggressive way. You're not trying to prove a point. You're just trying to go, hang on, I want to be acknowledged. A really great week for you to progress where you have been feeling unseen, and making sure you're letting other people around you feel seen. Acknowledge them for what they are doing, who they are as people, what they've done for you, because that's going to build them up from a place of truth and from that place of love, from that poem, The Sea Hath Its Pearls, because the person hath their pearls too, amongst any imperfections like how we all have. So as I've told you, Mercury retrograde's coming to an end, so being assertive where you need, but then pulling away, looking through the eyes of an animal. A snake is coming up. You may also start to feel with the moon, the new moon that we've got. It is about practical manifestation, so might be a little bit of a confusing energy. This is why the first 2 weeks of September are about long-term goals. So whatever you are intending for this new moon, just know it might take some time. Like a pearl takes ages to develop and grow from the irritation, from the disruption, from the interruption. It'll be worth it in the end. So even if there is some conflicting energy around the new moon, and I'm not talking about big external battles, just sometimes we can be a bit conflicted. It's coming back from a place of going, hang on, am I being seen enough? Am I being acknowledged for who I am and my gifts and my contribution in the world and in my relationships? So it's very practical human things you are wanting to consider this week in terms of the new moon energy and the end of Mercury retrograde. Also, in my culture, the new moon is called Pitori Amavasya, and Pitori Amavasya is about, it's actually Pitori, the word is flour, like as in, baking flour. So that's why I've put in the Monday mantra, you're molding your life from a piece of clay. So if you're doing that, what are you creating? How do you want to be seen? So you're pretending that piece of clay is going to be baked and kept for generations in that legacy of this is who I am. And that's very much the energy of this week. There's so many things I want to tell you. It was so amazing seeing Kieran. I know that lots of you sent messages to say hi to her. She was really excited to. She's not much of a video talker, so her brief appearances. She picked me up very early from my parents' place and drove me to the airport. But she really is touched by the kind emails that you send her and just acknowledging and appreciating her. Because she does a lot and she means a lot to me, and I know we handle a lot of sensitive information, but Kieran is someone that's actually in my life personally. Like, she comes over to my mum's house. Mum came with us for lunch the day that we went out. It's everyone in my team we have very strong connections. Even my team in India, my publicist in New Zealand, we went to high school together. She's became a client and then my publicist. So it's kind of like we're all a really good team, and so we all see each other and acknowledge each other for who we are. So thank you so much for being here. Just know that I'm here for you. Anything that you need, any service, support, I am doing my best to cater for everybody at your different price ranges so that you can get something from me to help yourself understand your journey. Your Monday mantra is, I am seen and acknowledged for who I am. I am seen and acknowledged for who I am. Apply that to other people in your life. Look at your life practically and shapeshift. I want you to sit with what that means to you so that you're preparing for that excellent, exciting meditation that's coming for you in a couple of weeks. Kieran is at soul33@gmail.com. Remember to share what you're experiencing in your meditations. And I know some of you are sharing what cards you pull. Please share all of that. I know I can't get to all the messages. I do read as many as I can, but other people are learning from your experiences as well. Sending you lots of love, and I see you. I see you. You are important. You are loved, and I know that you're all progressing here along with me. I'll be in touch really soon. Bye.